Welcome to part 2 of stupid car selling habits. I wish this only had to be a one-parter, but nah, people out here really being extra stupid, so much so that we now have a second video dedicated to it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is when people either use Google Images for the thumbnail or old freaking photos from like the 60s and 70s. And thank goodness that reverse image search is a thing, because I highly recommend you always use reverse image search, whether it's Facebook, Marketplace, Car Gurus, whatever. That way you can tell if they're just straight up scamming you. A lot of places, especially flood damaged cars, and this even happens with supercars. This isn't just something that cheap people do. A lot of people, even in the upper tier buyer sections, will just straight off rip images off of Google and think that people are dumb enough to fall for them, because guess what? People still are dumb enough to fall for them. So don't waste your time driving out there to see a car and then have them sit you down and have them talk you through financing. No, that's what they always do. That they try to bait you into the door with as many dirty tactics as possible. Use reverse image search. Now the second part to this first entry, so I guess 1.2, is when they use older photos of the car. So like for example, this happens a lot with classic cars or older exotics or barn finds or whatnot. Obviously the car in current condition will be like totally rusted and beaten up, but you know the thumbnail is going to be super clean, well painted, perfectly in mint condition, and then you see like the next 10 photos are just absolute garbage. And this is a really common thing they do with classic cars, and I love the first sentence. The first sentence has many different variations, but it always basically says the thumbnail photo was of the car in its prime. I chose it because I know it would generate more clicks. So they're basically shamelessly admitting to clickbaiting you. Secondly, that'd be like all right, imagine this. You're on a dating app, right? Imagine if everyone who's like in their 50s and 60s started using their thumbnail photos of them in their 20s and also said, that's what I look like in my prime and I only did it so you'd click my profile. Would you really be interested in what they just did? Or you just think that they're just a cheating, freaking lying I'm trying so hard not to curse, but you get the point. This is a scummy tactic. Please don't do it. Another stupid car selling habit is when people type the location as whatever the nearest big city it is just to get more views from people from that city, even though they're actually like 50, even 70 miles out in the countryside. A good example of this happens a lot in Atlanta. The amount of, so Atlanta Metro, by the way, is huge. It's in comparison, if you don't live in America, I'll tell you the state I used to live in, Indiana. You wanna know how many people that entire state had? 6 million. You wanna know how many people one city has? Also 6 million. So Atlanta's a pretty big city, right? So when you say you're in Atlanta, that doesn't really tell me much. But it's even worse when they're like in one of the outer metro counties of Atlanta, but they still say they're like just Atlanta. So that could have a variance of up to 100 miles. So please actually use your actual county and your actual town / city that you're in, because just this doesn't work. All right, so if you say that you're in a certain location and then the moment people call you up, because obviously this is one that's harder to trick people to get their phone in the door, because the reality is, like most people, the whole reason the sort by miles away, the sort by distance is a thing, is because not everyone wants to waste the gas or has the time in a day, because some people literally look at cars on their lunch break. If you're trying to get people to waste a whole hour, even 2 hours just to get to you in the first place, you're not doing yourself any favors. All right, people are already on a limited time when buying cars, alright, so stop playing games with them. So this next entry is a car guy special, and as a fellow car enthusiast, boy I hate it when y'all do this. Alright, so if you put a whole bunch of mods in your car, that doesn't change the price of your car exactly to the amount of mods you spend on it. So basically what I'm saying is, if you put 15 grand into like a 3 grand car, your car is not 18 grand. The reality of car modifications is that you're not going to see all of that money come back to you. In fact, sometimes they actually depreciate your car, so you're better off taking the mods off and then selling them individually on eBay and then selling the car stock. Some mods do appreciate the car, but not fast enough relative to the vehicle's depreciation. So for example, if you have a supercharged Mustang, supercharger kit for a Mustang around 6 grandish for like a good Roush kit that's like stage 1, 2, whatever the heck, I don't care. And it with labor and everything, maybe you're like 7 grand in, maybe even 8 grand in, because maybe you had to build a whole bunch of other things and whatnot to get it properly working. So you're around 8 grand in for that car. A lot of Mustang buyers, if they're looking for a used GT, they would actually appreciate a supercharger kit. You'll gladly find a market market that will like it. But guess what? That 8 grand that you just spent only translates into about 4 grand of extra value. So let's say your car, if you were to sell like a bone stock Mustang GT, is like 30 grand. And then you spent 8 grand, so you're now 38 grand in. When you go to sell your car, it won't be worth 30 grand. It also won't be worth less than 30 grand because this isn't a kind of mod that depreciates it. But it will be worth 34 grand. It's still 4 grand loss for you. So it's one of those things where if you do expensive mods, you will get some of the money back when you sell your car. Just know that the best way to enjoy car modifications is to keep your car as long as possible, because no one will value what you've done to it more than you yourself. Whether it's the wheels, even the intercooler supercharger kit or pro charger or freaking centrifugal or even twin turbo, whatever setup you go with, that's the thing. It's all preference. And then think about it, that's just one kit. Imagine if you have like a different cold air intake or a different header setup with a different exhaust setup, have like the best of the best performance mods, and they're really high quality, really well done. Like I said, when they have a mix and match parts, like you have a Corsa this, you have a Borla that, you have a K&N that, and things are just all over the place, your list is all over the place, and you also have like a set of wheels that someone may not vibe with. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Your car, at the end of the day, how you modded it was to please yourself, so you will value it the most. Because another customer will look at it and they will nitpick it to knock the value down. They'll be like, I actually don't like the set of wheels you put on it. I like the stock more, or I like the insert whatever brand they like more. Or they might say the same thing about your cold air intake. Oh, I actually like this brand more. Same thing about your supercharger. You know, I would have gone with a Magnuson instead of an Edelbrock. Or there's just never an end to it. So do know that if you start throwing big money at your car, you're not getting any of it back when you go to sell. So the best way to enjoy it is to just ride it out. Put the mileage on, enjoy that car, and just love it. The next thing is kind of a throwback to the first entry in the first parter. If you haven't seen the first parter, by the way, I'm going to link it at the end of this video so you can go check it out later. Now, you know, people type $1 to show up first in the sort by lowest price. Well, apparently thanks to the comments I read, I learned that some MFs actually type in 1 mile to rank first and low mileage by first. Huh, man, people really out here adapting, huh? You get rid of one tactic, because people are already used to the $1 trick, right? People also used to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trick. So if you don't know, that's basically the same trick as the $1 trick, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because the starting number is still 1, it will still rank first on sort by lowest. So the $1 trick, everyone already doesn't fall for that anymore. So now these people, they're wising up. Now they're doing the one mileage trick, so they show up in the sort by. It happens a lot, again, with classic cars. So this isn't really something that, now people kind of do it to beater cars, but beater cars are, it's easier to know that they're lying. For example, if I saw a car that said 1 mileage, but it looked like this, I'm just already gonna call cap on that. But for exotic cars, they do this all the time. They'll type 1 in, because they know exotic car buyers usually want a low mileage example. And then immediately they'll write in the description, this Lamborghini actually has like 2,300 miles, we just wrote 1, so it showed up first. And I like how they are so shamelessly always admit that they clickbaited you. And I think the reason they do that is as a legal disclaimer, because obviously for false advertising, especially on dealerships, you can actually take them to court for that. So to prevent that, they always put a little, you know, just, oh yeah, no, we know we lied to you to get you to click it, but in the description we said it was true. That way when you come to the actual dealership, they'll just throw that line like, oh, but did you read the description? Ooh, can't get us for false advertising. I swear somewhere along the way that should still qualify as false advertising. Like, anyways, before I get more heated about this one, we're just gonna move on to the next entry. So the final entry, the end all be all to this hopefully end of this stupid car selling habit series, is when someone isn't even actually trying to sell their car at all. You know, the people who write the stupid, oh well, I'm just testing the waters, or I'm just seeing what my car's value is, or hey guys, I'm curious, KBB says it's worth this, what do you guys think? The moment someone says, especially the testing the waters phrase, ooh, red flag. That means they're just gonna either A, sandbag on you, or B, waste your freaking time. I read a lot of great comments from last video where people are like, do you ever just hate it where someone does this? They're like, oh, I'm testing the waters, here's the value of my car, and someone is actually willing to buy it, which, by the way, for the seller, that should make you happy. Sellers already have such a hard time biting, and I finally figured out why. It's because these non-sellers are taking up all the attention for the actual sellers. So actual sellers would actually appreciate potential buyers, but these non-sellers love stringing people along. So basically they'll be like, yeah, I'm just testing the waters, and someone will actually buy it and be like, hey, I want to come out and see your car. I'm free this and this day. I'm willing to like pay the actual listed price. Like that's literally someone's dream, is to hear that they're not going to negotiate. And then they ghost you. Like they just don't respond. And but I can't imagine seeing a car you like, actually willing to just not negotiate, give them the listed price, which is like literally just a golden goose. So many sellers wish that would happen to them, but these sellers, because they're not actually interested in selling their car, they're just testing the waters and wasting people's time, they ghost the actual buyers. If you want to test the waters, just stick to KBB values and stop wasting our time. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more car content. Also, make sure to check out my recent vlog of me shooting 3-foot flames. And that thumbnail, believe it or not, is not clickbait. I actually did shoot that huge of a flame, not photoshopped. Go watch it, seriously, go watch it. And go watch my other videos too if that's not your type of speed, but alright, I'll see y'all next time. Blade Angel out.